Olivia's brother. The first time I met Olivia's little brother, I have to admit I'm totally taken by surprise. I shouldn't be, of course. Olivia's told me about his syndrome, has even described what he looks like. But she's also talked all about his surgeries over the years, so I guess I assumed he'd be more normal looking by now. Like when a kid is born with a cleft palate and has plastic surgery to fix it. Sometimes you can even tell except for the little scar about the lip. I guess I thought her brother would have some scars here and there, but not this. I definitely wasn't expecting to see this little kid in a baseball cap who's sitting in front of me right now. Actually, there are two kids sitting in front of me. One is a totally normal looking kid with curly blonde hair named Jack. The other is Augie. I like to think I'm able to hide my surprise. I hope I do. Surprise is one of those emotions that can be hard to fake. Though, whether you are trying to look surprised when you are not or trying to not look surprised when you are. I shake his hand. I shake the other kid's hand. Don't want to focus on his face. Cool room, I say. Are you Via's boyfriend? He said. I think he's smiling. Olivia pushes down his baseball cap. Is that a machine gun? The blonde kid asks. Like I haven't heard that one before. And we talk about that decal for a bit. And then Via's taking my hand and leading me out the room. As soon as we close the door behind us, we hear them laughing. I'm from Brooklyn, one of them sings. Olivia rolls her eye as she smiles. Let's go hang out in my room, she says. We've been dating for 2 months now. I knew from the moment I saw her, the minute she sat down at our table in cafeteria, that I liked her. I couldn't keep my eyes off of her. Really beautiful, with a lift skin and the bluest eye I've ever seen in my life. At first, she acted like she only wanted to be friends. I think she kind of gives off that vibe without even meaning to. Say back, then even better. She doesn't flirt like some other girls do. She looks you right in the eye when she talks to you, like she's staring you. So I just kept looking her right in the eye, too, like I was staring her right back. And then I asked her out and she said yes, which rocked. She's an awesome girl and I love hanging out with her. She didn't tell me about August until our 3rd date. I think she used a phrase, a craniofacial abnormality, to describe his face. Or maybe it was craniofacial anomaly. I know one word she didn't use was deformed, though, because that word would have resisted with me. So what did you think? She asked me nervously the second we are inside her room. Are you shocked? No, I lie. She smiles and looks away. You're shocked. I'm not, I assure her. He's just like what you said he'd be. She nods and plops down on her bed. Kinda cute how she still has a lot of stuffed animals on her bed. She takes one of them, a polar bear, without thinking and puts it in her lap. I sit down on the rolling chair by her desk. Her room is immaculate. When I was little, she said, there were lots of kids who never came back for a second play date. I mean, lots of kids. I even had friends who wouldn't come to my birthday because he would be there. They never actually told me this, but it would get back to me. Some people just don't know how to deal with Ollie, you know? I nod. It's not even like they know they're being mean, she asked. They were just scared. I mean, let's face it. His face is a little scary, right? I guess, I answered. But you're okay with it? She asked me sweetly. You're not freaked out or scared? I'm not freaked out or scared. I smile. She nods and looks down at the polar bear on her lap. I can't tell whether she believes me or not, but then she gives the polar bear a kiss on the nose and tosses it to me with a little smile. I think that means she believes me, or at least that she wants to.
Valentine's Day. I give Olivia a heart necklace for Valentine's Day, and she gives me a messenger bag she's made out of old floppy disks. Very cool how she makes things like that. Earrings out of pieces of circuit boards, dresses out of t-shirts, bags out of old jeans. She's so creative. I tell her she should be an artist someday, but she wants to be a scientist, a geneticist of all things. She wants to find cures for people like her brother, I guess. We make plans for me to finally meet her parents, a Mexican restaurant on Amesworth Avenue near her house on Saturday night. All day long I'm nervous about it, and when I get nervous my tics come out. I mean, my tics are always there, but they're not like they used to be when I was little. Nothing but a few heart blings now, the occasional head pull. But when I'm stressed, they get worse, and I'm definitely stressing about meeting her folks. They are waiting inside when I get to the restaurant. The dad gets up and shakes my hand, and the mom gives me a hug. I give Augie a hello fist punch and kiss Olivia on the cheek before I sit down. It's so nice to meet you, Justin. We've heard so much about you. Her parents couldn't be nicer, put me at ease right away. The waiter brings over the menus, and I notice his expression the moment he lays eyes on August. But I pretend not to notice. I guess we're all pretending not to notice things tonight. The waiter, my tics, the way August crushes the tortilla chips on the table and spoons the crumbs into his mouth. I look at Olivia and she smiles at me. She knows. She sees the waiter's face. She sees my tics. Olivia is a girl who sees everything. We spend the entire dinner talking and laughing. Olivia's parents ask me about my music, how I got into the fiddle and stuff like that. And I tell them about how I used to play classical violin, but I got into Appalachian folk music and then Zydeco. And they're listening to every word like they're really interested. They tell me to let them know the next time my band's playing a gig so they can come listen. I'm not used to all the tension to be truthful. My parents don't have a clue about what I want to do in my life. They never ask. We never talk like this. I don't think they even know I traded my Baroque violin for an 8-string Hardanger fiddle 2 years ago. After dinner, we go back to Olivia's for some ice cream. Their dog greets us at the door. An old dog, super sweet. She's thrown up all over the hallway though. Olivia's mom rushes to get paper towels while the dad picks the dog up like she's baby. What's up, old girlie, he says, and the dog's in heaven, tongue hanging out, tail wagging, legs in the air at awkward angles. Dad, tell Justin how you got Daisy, says Olivia. Yeah, says Doggy. The dad smiles and sits down in a chair with the dog still cradled in his arms. It's obvious he's told his story lots of times, and they all love to hear it. So I'm coming home from the subway one day, he says, and a homeless guy I've never seen in this neighborhood before is pushing this floppy mud in a stroller. And he comes up to me and says, "Hey mister, wanna buy my dog?" And without even thinking about it, I say, "Sure, how much you want?" And she says $10, so I give him the $20 I have in my wallet, and he hands me the dog. Justin, I'm telling you, you've never smelled anything so bad in your life. She stank so much I can't even tell you. So I took her right from there to the vet down the street, and I brought her home. Didn't even call me first, by the way. The mom interjects as she cleans the floor to see if I'm okay with us bringing home some homeless guy's dog. The dog actually looks over at the mom when she says this, like she understands everything everyone is saying about her. She's a happy dog, like she knows she lucked out that day fighting this family. I kind of know how she feels. Like, I like Olivia's family. They laugh a lot. My family's not like this at all. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 4 and they pretty much hate each other. I grew up spending half of every week in my dad's apartment in Chelsea and the other half in my mom's place in Brooklyn Heights. I have a half brother who's 5 years older than me and barely knows I exist. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my parents could hardly wait for me to be old enough to take care of myself. You can go to the store by yourself. Here's the keys to the apartment. It's funny how there's a word like overprotective to describe some parents, but no word that means the opposite. What are you used to describe parents who don't protect enough? Underprotective, neglectful, self-involved, lame, all of the above. Olivia's family tell each other I love you all the time. I can't remember the last time anyone in my family said that to me. By the time I go home, my takes have all stopped.
Our town. We are doing the play Our Town for the spring, so this year Olivia dared me to try out the lead role, the street manager, and somehow I get it. Total fluke. Never got any lead role in anything before. I tell Olivia she brings me good luck. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the female lead. Emily gives the pink hair girl named Miranda get it. Olivia gets a bit bad and is also the Emily understudy. I am actually more disappointed than Olivia. She almost seems realized. I don't love people starting at me, she say, which is sort of strange coming from such a pretty girl. A part of me thinks maybe she blew her audition and purpose. The spring show is at the end of April. It's mid-March now, so that's less than 6 weeks to memorize my part. Plus rehearsal time, plus practicing with my band, plus final, plus spending time with Olivia. Is it going to be a role 6 weeks? That is for sure. Mr. Davenport, the drama teacher, is already manic about the whole thing. Will drive us crazy by the time it's over, no doubt. I heard through the grapevine that he would be planning on doing the Elephant Man, but changed it to Our Town at the last minute, and that change took a week off of our rehearsal schedule. Not looking forward to the craziness of the next month and a half.
Ladybug. Olivia and I are sitting on her front stoop. She's helping me with my lines. It's a warm March evening, almost like summer. The sky's still bright cyan, but the sun is low and the sidewalks are streaked with long shadows. I'm reciting, yes. The sun's come up over 1,000 times. Summers and winters have cracked the mountains a little bit more, and the rains have brought down some of the dirt. Some babies that weren't even born before have begun talking regular sentences already, and a number of people who thought they were right young and spry have noticed that they can't bound up a flight of stairs like they used to, without their heart fluttering a little. I shake my head, can't remember the rest. All that can happen in 1,000 days, Olivia prompts me, reading from the script. Right, I say, shaking my head. I sighed. I'm white, Olivia. How the heck am I going to remember all these lines? You will, she answers confidently. She reaches out and cups her hand over a ladybug that appears out of nowhere. See? A good luck sign, she says, slowly lifting her top hand to reveal the ladybug walking on the palm of her other hand. Good luck or just the hot weather, I joke. Of course, good luck, she answers, watching the ladybug crawl up her wrist. There should be a thing about making a wish on a ladybug. Augie and I used to do that with fireflies when we were little. She cups her hand over the ladybug again. Come on, make a wish. Close your eyes. I dutifully close my eyes. A long second passes, then I open them. Did you make a wish? She asks. Yep. She smiles, uncups her hands, and the ladybug, as if on cue, spreads its wings and flits away. Don't you want to know what I wished for? I ask, kissing her. No, she answers shyly, looking up at the sky, which, at this very moment, is the exact color of her eyes. I made a wish too, she said mysteriously, but she has so many things she could wish, for I have no idea what she's thinking.
The bus stop. Olivia's mom, Augie, Jack, and Daisy come down the stop just as I'm saying goodbye to Olivia. Slightly awkward scene, we are in middle of a nice long kiss. Hey guys, says the mom, pretending not to see anything, but the two boys are giggling. Hi, Miss Pullman. Please call me Isabel Justine, she said again. It's like the third time she has told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. I'm heading home, I say, as if to explain. Oh, are you heading to the subway? She says, following the dog with a newspaper. Can you walk Jack to the bus stop? No problem. That's okay with you, Jack? The mom asks him, and he shrugs. Justine, can you stay with him till the bus comes? Of course. We all say our goodbyes. Olivia winks at me. You don't have to stay with me, says Jack, as we are walking up the block. I take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is way too overprotective. He has got a low, gravelly voice, like a little tough guy. He kind of looks like one of those little racial kids in old black and white movies, like he should be wearing a newsboy cap and knickers. We get to bus stop and the shadows says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. I'll wait with you, I tell him. Up to you, he shrugs. Can I borrow $1? I want some gum. I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street to the grocery store on the corner. He seems too small to be walking around by himself somehow. Then I think how I was that young when I was taking the subway by myself. Way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday. I know it. My kids are going to know I care. I'm waiting there a minute or two when I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past a grocery store, but one of them looks inside and nudges the other two, and they all back up and look inside. I can tell they're up to no good, all elbowing each other, laughing. One of them is Jack Hayes, but the other two look much bigger, more like teens. They hide behind the fruit stand in front of the store, and when Jack walks out, they trail behind him, making loud, throw-up noise. Jack casually turns around at the corner to see who they are, and they run away, high-fiving each other and laughing, little jerks. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me at the bus stop, blowing a bubble. Friends of yours? Friends of yours, I finally say. Ha, he says. He's trying to smile, but I can see he's upset. Just some jokes from my school, he says. A kid named Julian and his 2 gorillas, Henry and Miles. Do they bother you that a lot? No, they've never done that before. They would never do that in school, or they would get kicked out. Julian lives 2 blocks from here, so I guess it was just bad luck running into him. Oh, okay, I know. It's not a big deal, he assures me. We both automatically look down Amesfort Avenue to see if the bus is coming. We are short up in a whirl, he says after a minute, as if that explains everything. Then he pulls out his crumpled piece of loose leaf paper from his jean pocket and gives it to me. I unfold it and it's a list of names in 3 columns. He's turned the whole rate against me, says Jack. Not the whole rate, I point out, looking down at the list. He leaves me notes in my locker says stuff like everybody hates you. You should tell your teacher about that. Jack looks at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. Anyway, you have all these new jobs, I say, pointing to the list. If you get them on your side, things will end up a bit. Yeah, well, that's really going to happen, he says sarcastically. Why not? He shoots me another look like I am absolutely the stupidest guy he has ever talked to in the world. What? I say. He shakes his head like I'm hopeless. Let's just say, he says, I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in the school. Then it hits me, what is he coming out and saying? August? This all about his being friends with August, and he doesn't want to tell me because I'm the sister's boyfriend. Yeah, of course, makes sense. We see the bus coming down Amesfort Avenue. Well, just hang in there, I tell him, handing back the paper. Middle school is about as bad as it gets, and then it gets better. Everything will work out, he shrugs and shoves the list back into his pocket. We wave by when he gets on the bus, and I watch it pull away. When I get to the subway station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They are still laughing and jacking each other like they are some kind of gangbangers. Little rich boys in expensive skinny jeans acting the tough. Don't know what possessed me, but I take my glasses off, put them in my pocket, and tuck my fiddle case under my arm so the pointy side is facing up. I walk over to them, my face scrunched up, mean looking. They look at me, laughs dying on their lips. When they see me, I scream cold at odd angles. Yo, listen up, don't mess with Jack, I say really slowly, gritting my teeth, my voice all clean. Eastwood, tough guy. Mess with him again and you will be very, very sorry. And then I tap my fiddle case for effect. Got it? They nod in unison. I scream, dripping onto their hands. Good. I nod mysteriously, then sprint down the subway to save at a time.
Chapter 78 Rehearsal. The play is taking up most of my time as we get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember. Long monologues where it's just me talking. Olivia had this great idea, though, and it's helping. I have my fiddle with me on stage and play it a bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it adds a nature folksy element to have the stage managed, plucking on a fiddle. And for me, it's so great because whenever I need a second to remember my next line, I just start playing a little soldier's joy on my fiddle, and it buys me some time. I've gotten to know the kids on the show a lot better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not really as stuck F as I thought she would, given the crowd she hangs out with. Her boyfriend's debut job, who's a big deal on the varsity sport circuit at school. It's a whole world that I have nothing to do with, so I'm kind of surprised that this Miranda girl turns out to be kind of nice. One day we're sitting on the floor backstage, waiting for the tech guy to fix the main spotlight. So how long have you and Oliver been dating? She asks out of the blue. About 4 months now, I say. Have you met her brother? She says casually. It's so unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother? I asked. Where? Didn't tell you? We used to be good friends. I've known OG since he was a baby. Oh yeah, I think you knew that, I answered. I don't want to let on that Olivia had not told me any of this. I don't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody but Olivia's family calls her Via. And here this pink-haired girl, who I thought was Ginger, is calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but she doesn't say anything. There's an awkward silence, and then she starts fishing through her bag and pulls out her wallet. She replies to a couple pictures and then hands on to me. It's a little boy in the park on a sunny day. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It was like 100 degrees that day, she said, smiling at the picture, but he couldn't take the helmet off or anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight in the winter. In the summer, at the beach, it was crazy. Yeah, I've seen pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him the helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud of that. She takes the picture and carefully inserts it back to her wallet. Cool, I answer. So you're quite good at it, she says, looking at me. I look at the blankie. Okay with that, what? She raises her eyebrow like she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink from her water bottle. Let's face, she continues, the universe was not kind to algae good man.
Bert, why didn't you tell me that you and Miranda never used to be friends? I say to Olivia the next day. I'm really annoyed at her for not telling me this. It's not a big deal, she answers defensively, looking at me like I'm weird. It is a big deal, I say. I looked like an idiot. How you could not tell me? You have always acted like you don't even know her. I don't know her, she answered quickly. I don't know who the pink-haired Challenger is. The girl I knew was a total dog who collects American Girl dolls. Oh, come on, Olivia. You come on. You could have mentioned it to me at some point, I said quietly, pretending not to notice the big fat tears that suddenly rolling down her cheek. She shrugs, fighting back bigger tears. It's okay. I'm not mad, I say, thinking the tears are about me. I honestly don't care if you are mad, as she says spitefully. Oh, that's real nice. I fight back. She doesn't say anything. The tears are about to come. Olivia, what's the matter? I say. She shakes her head like she doesn't want to talk about it. But all of a sudden, the tears start rolling a mile a minute. I'm sorry. It's not you, Justin. I'm not crying because of you, she finally says through her tears. Then why are you crying? Because I'm an awful person. What are you talking about? She is not looking at me, wiping her tears with the palm of her hand. I haven't told my parents about the show, she says quickly. I shake my head because I don't quite get what she is telling me. That's okay, I say. It's not too late. There are still tickets available. I don't want them to come to the show, Justin, she interrupts impatiently. Don't you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to come. If they come, they will bring Oki with them, and I just don't feel like... Here, She's hit by another round of crying that doesn't let her finish talking. I put my arm around her. I'm an awful person, she says through her tears. You are not an awful person, I said softly. Yes, I am, she sobs. It's just been so nice being in a new school where nobody knows about him, you know? Nobody's whispering about it behind my back. It's just been so nice, Justin. But if he comes to play, then everyone will talk about it. Everyone will know. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I swear I had never been embarrassed by him before. I know, I say, soothing her. You are entitled, Olivia. You have dealt with a lot of your whole life. Olivia reminds me of a bird sometimes. Now her feathers got all rough when she is mad, and when she fragile like this, she is not but looking for its nest, so I give her my wing to hide under.
The universe, I can't sleep tonight. My head is full of thoughts that won't turn off. Lies, my monologues, elements of periodic table that I'm supposed to be memorizing, theorems I'm supposed to be understanding. Olivia, Augie. Miranda's words keep coming back. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. I think about that a lot, and everything it means. She's right about that. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. What did that little kid ever do to deserve his sentence? What did the parents do? Olivia, she once mentioned that some daughter told her parents that the odds of someone getting the same combination of syndromes that came together to make Augie's fate were like 1 in 4 million. So doesn't that make the universe a giant lottery? Then you purchase ticket when you're born, and it's so just random when you get a good ticket or a bad ticket. It's your luck. My head swirls on this, but then softer thoughts soothe, like a flutter third on a major chord. No, it's not all random. If it really all random, universe would abandon it completely. It's not all random. If it really all random, the universe would abandon it completely. And the universe doesn't. It takes care of its most fragile creations in ways we can't see, like with parents who adore you blindly, and a big sister who feels guilty for being human over you, and a little gravelly voiced kid whose fans have left him over you, and even a pink-haired girl who carries your picture in her wallet. Maybe it's a lottery. Maybe it is a lottery. But the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all its birds.
Not Pro. The Spurtland was a big hit at the science fair. Jack and I got an A for it. It was the first A Jack got in any class all year long, so he was shy. On the science fair project was set up on a table in the gym. It was the same setup as the Egyptian museum back in December, except this time there was volcanoes and molecule diagrams on the table instead of pyramid and paras. And instead of the kid taking our parent around to look at everybody else's artifact, we had to stand by our table while all the parents wandered around the room and came over to us one by one. Here is a mark at 1. 60 kids in the grade equals 60 set of parents and doesn't even include grandparents, so that is a minimum of 120 pair of eyes that find their way over to me. Eyes that aren't as used to me as their kid eyes are by now. It is like how compass needs always boy not, no matter which way you are facing. All those eyes are compasses, and I'm like the North Pole to them. That is why I still don't like the school even that include parents. I don't hate them as much as I did at the beginning of school years. Like the Thanksgiving Sharing Festival. That was the worst one, I think. That was the first time I had to face the parent all at once. The Egyptian Museum came after that, but that one was okay. because I got to dress up as a mommy, and nobody noticed me. Then came the winter concert, which I totally hate, because I had to sing in the chorus. Not only can I not sing at all, but I feel like I was on display. The New Year art show wasn't quite as bad, but it was still annoying. They put up our artwork in the hallways all over the school and had the parents come and check it out. It was like starting school all over again, having unsuspecting adults pat me on the stairway. Anyway, it is not that I care that people react to me. Like I have said a gajillion times, I'm used to that by now. I don't let it bother me. It's like when you go outside and it's drizzling like a little. You don't put on boots for drizzling. You don't even open your umbrella. You walk through it and barely notice your hair wetting get. But when it's a huge gym for our parents, the drizzle become like the total hurricane. Everyone's eyes hit you like a wall of water. Mom and Dad hang around my table a lot, along with Jack's parents. It is kind of funny how parents actually end up forming the same little group like their kid form. Like my parents and Jack and Summer's mom own like and get along with each other. And I see Julian's parents hang out with Henry's parents and my parents. And even the two Mark's parents hang out together. It is so funny. I told Mom and Dad about it later when we were walking home, and they thought it was a funny observation. I guess it's true that lies sick like, said Mom.